Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Babbling Irons video with myself and Mike today. Another player breakdown, someone who's been smashing it at the Euros, top goal scorer right now, other than own goals, of course, is Georgia's Mikautadze of, well, now Metz, was at Ajax, but that's been made permanent to Metz now. Just got relegated as well from League A, so it's technically a League 2 signing if it was to happen. Diafra Sakho vibes. We've said it before in the live stream this weekend. But yeah, this is the link that's coming out saying West Ham have made an offer for 20 million euros for him. The offer is said to be the highest the League 2 side has received so far, but we're going to face competition with the likes of Monaco Keane, and they've already agreed personal terms with the player, according to this source. So yeah, for those that have been watching the Euros, you would have seen a little bit of Mikautadze and how fantastic he's been for them. And just a little bit of an overview. He is now at Metz. He's just signed there from Ajax after an option to buy was triggered for around 15 million euros. Still only 23 years old. Main positions he's been playing this year has been kind of that centre forward position, but again, he's also someone that plays off of the striker out on the left wing, so he's quite versatile in that sense. Right-footed. Again, his market value is around 15 million euros based on his recent transfer. 5'9", plays for Georgia, and yeah, his contract now expires in 2028. So I think there's two sides to this, but before we get into the actual logistics of the transfer, Mike, overall thoughts on Mikautadze as a player?
Yeah, I think he's one of those players that I think West Ham fans like, in that incredibly hardworking, not afraid to put his foot in and put himself about, hassles and harries. So, how many times have we heard West Ham fans saying, above all else, they want a player that shows commitment, shows dedication, and a player that seems to always try and play for the shirt. He is that type of player. That's within his mentality to play in that way. And we've seen it for Georgia. And that's not that he's just upped his level just for Georgia as well. He has been doing that during League and for Metz as well. So it's I personally think it's a good signing. I don't think he would be signed as the main centre forward. For me, that's a player that's to complement what we're going to have. And also, what I think has been clear this summer is when we're looking at attackers, we're looking at players that are very versatile, players that can operate maybe across the entire front line, good on in a couple of different positions. And again, he fits that mould of a player that can play in pretty much any position. And at 22 is he? I believe
23, yeah.
Yeah, 23. So it's a great age to be buying a player. It's a great kind of opportunity to grow and to kind of develop. And Georgia, along with a lot of kind of teams in that kind of more traditional Eastern Bloc kind of thing, are producing players far more regularly than they used to, and of high quality as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think this season, obviously, he was playing at Metz after, the move to Ajax didn't particularly work out. But as Slough alluded to off air, Ajax were an absolute mess. So we're not going to judge him on that. But his performances, like you say, for Metz this season have been really promising. I don't really see him as you say that. I think that versatility is key because I don't see him as an out-and-out number 9. He's not that type of player. The way he kind of moves with the ball and plays, I'll be honest, it gives me Ben Rama vibes the way he plays. But yeah, his output's been fantastic this season. 13 goals and 4 assists from 20 league appearances for Metz. They did just about get relegated in the playoff against Saint Etienne, but yeah, he's been kind of one of the bright sparks. And although he has made his move permanent, there's clubs now circulating to kind of make him move straight away, especially because they were relegated. It makes it easier for clubs to try and go after him. But if we just look at some of the statistics before we get into the actual whether we would or wouldn't with a transfer, you can kind of see here, this is in comparison with the top 5 European leagues last season. When we're looking at his shooting and goal and shot creation statistics here, he's pretty high across the board. Another obviously positive for him is he takes set pieces. He'll be a penalty taker. And you can kind of see here his goals is in very high percentile in comparison to the other top 5 European leagues, as we mentioned. And you can kind of see the type of goal and shot creations he's creating. Again, a very high percentile, around 3.01 shot creating actions per 90. A lot of those are coming from take-ons. A lot of those are coming from dead ball. So that set piece is coming into it as well. And also fouls drawn and take-ons. So 100% he's someone that is going to try and take people on in the final third. And he also has that dead ball specialist about him because he can take set pieces. Is that another positive to his game as well, Mike, that he could come in and do that role?
Yeah, I think if you have a player who can strike cleanly from a dead ball, whether that be from the penalty spot or whether that be a free kick, I think that's a great advantage. We signed one of the best set piece takers who's still yet to score a set piece, which is just bonkers,
Has he
really.
scored a penalty? I feel like he might have scored a penalty, but yeah, not a
Uh,
free kick.
I can't remember if Ward-Prowse has. He may have taken a penalty.
I think he might have in
However,
a home game. Like, I can't remember, but
yeah,
he hasn't scored a free kick.
no, no, exactly, and that's
He
one of the
scored a corner.
reasons
He
why we
scored a
bought him as
corner.
well. But yeah, having a player who can strike cleanly in the way that he does is great. Someone who has composure in taking a penalty, because penalties can be quite pressure cooker moments in games. So again, to be able to manage that and take that coolly and slot away regular as he does is great. I think he's got 13 goals this season
Yeah.
and 4 assists. Oh, sorry, 14 goals if you include the playoff game as well.
Mhm.
Which, considering he's playing in a Mets team that really did struggle this year, obviously ultimately getting relegated by falling into the relegation playoff position, it's quite some going. And also to do that and build himself up after what was such a calamity at Ajax, and played 9 games at Ajax before they essentially just completely binned him off. 9 games is not enough time in which to essentially assess and to give a player a chance. And they were in an absolute state.
Yeah,
So you
especially with the
really,
situation they were in.
yeah, you really can't look at that time there and say that's a fair representation of him, because when you look at what he's done at Mets over the two kind of periods, I think he's played about 68 games. So 64 games, he's scored 38 goals and has 13 assists. That's pretty impressive. I mean, when he's playing at Mets B team, he had 18 games he played there and got 18 goals.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty, incredible kind of turnaround. And just one of those seasons, obviously, for Mets, he was in Ligue 2, but
Yeah.
again, 23 goals in that. Then since then, 22 games and 13 goals in Ligue 1
Mhm.
is a bloody good return. The guy, Ajax took a chance and then they just fumbled, in my opinion. I think they panicked, didn't know what to do, and it's like, we just need to get some players out, and then they just moved out a player that really they shouldn't have. Maybe should have shown a bit more patience with.
Mm.
And I think what's impressive is when you look at those stats, and considering how much Mets struggled last year, is how many opportunities he's able to create for himself, which
Yeah.
is great. And something that we've said before, that we've needed a striker who ultimately has to create for themselves, which is why Antonio's always done so well, because of the way he plays and operates. He's genuinely been able to try and fashion things on his own at times. And on top of that is how his shots to goal ratio is incredibly high. So he
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily need a huge amount of opportunities in which to
Yeah.
convert. And he's also, again, when you look at the percentage in terms of goals on shots on target, also very high. So again, it shows a player that when he shoots, he's not only is he clinical, he's very accurate.
Mm.
So that in itself, if you're then going to a team where you create much more chances for him, then ultimately his goal rate should improve, should increase, because of obviously the things that I've mentioned.
Yeah, the reason I say I don't see him as an out and out striker is we'll kind of alluded to it here. When we're looking at his passing statistics as well, he's someone that is also a creator. I know he only got 4 assists this season, but again, it's not down to the way he was playing. He was playing across the line. He was kind of the main man last season. He was playing a lot at centre forward, but there were, if you kind of watched him play, and again you can look at his highlights and stuff, he is someone that will drift across the line. He's not someone that's going to be like a box nine striker. He's someone that likes to drop deep, get involved, take players on. So again, I don't see him as a striker personally. But again, you can kind of see here the types of passes he's attempting, whether that's short, medium, long, passes into the final third, high percentile, progressive passes, and then you can see on the right there it kind of emphasizes the fact that he's not just going to be someone from open play as well, but from dead ball situations. He's someone that's going to be putting crosses in, corners. He can take corners, free kicks, and also he's got the penalty element to his game as well. So, and again, kind of re-emphasizing the point with his possession statistics. When we're comparing him to other forwards, he is someone that will like to carry the ball and progress into the final third and be direct. And it's why I kind of gave him parallels with the way Ben Rama sort of plays. I think he's slightly different to that in that he's more of a goal scorer, 100%. I don't think Ben Rama could play as the solo striker in a system. But I think I think I always almost see him as kind of a false nine left winger, adaptable, similar to like Cunha of Wolves. Slightly different type of player profile in terms of how they play, but can operate in both of those positions. And I think with Mikautadze, however you say it, he is still only 23, so it does offer that kind of versatility. But in terms of the fee it's going to take, Mike, obviously he's only just signed for around 15 million. We've said sort of rumored to put in a bid of 20 million euros, which is the highest so far, apparently, to the source. So, how much do you think it's realistically going to take to get this done? Would we want to go much higher than that?
I think to get it done, if someone puts in 20 plus, say, some extra bonuses in there, so say up to say 5 billion, you're not necessarily going to give them that 4 or 5 million, but it's that carrot that, well, if the player performs and if you as a club are confident that that player is going to go to a club and meet those metrics, then saying, yeah, 5 extra million or even maybe a sell-on clause at some extra point, it's going to be worth it to the selling club. I wouldn't probably go much higher than that. I think, again, because as we keep saying, we're looking at multiple positions and quite a few positions. So we have got to safeguard money a little. However, I think 20 million as an opening bid is very good. They're probably going to be wanting around 30. However, I think if that's their expectation, recent bids would have at least maybe tempered that because it's going to be a lot less. Mm-hmm. And, Monaco seem incredibly interested. That should also be an indication to West Ham fans that that is a player to take note of. Monaco's scouting team very, very, very rarely miss when it comes to buying players. And they are consistently buying low and selling incredibly high. So you should take note of that as well. That is a team that have been interested in him. If, say, Borussia Dortmund came in as well, then you definitely also take note because that's another one who very rarely misses. But 20 to 25 million, but that's with add-ons, I think is acceptable. Once you start going above that, then I think you maybe take a step back and assess what else is on the market.
What would you rate the transfer out of 10 if it did pull it off for around those figures you're stating there?
Yeah, I think it's a really solid 6, 7 kind of one. It's not. I'm not going to get hugely excited about it. I'm not going to kind of run for the hills saying this is the dream signing. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a really solid signing, one that again improves the quality from the bench. I do think he will start some games, and I also think that in games where maybe Lopetegui wants to go for a 4-4-2, which he did adopt at Wolves at times. And I think also he beat Chelsea playing 4-4-2, and I think he may have also done that against Arsenal in a 4-4-2. When he wants to go to that type of formation, he is the perfect foil for another centre forward because he will allow that centre forward. Basically, like we saw, again, going back a long time, but if we've been watching the Euros, Alan Shearer talks about it. When he played in a 2, or when he played at Newcastle with Bobby Robson, it's, I need you to go that way. I'm going to get you a runner. And he bought by Craig Bellamy. Now, he doesn't have the same pace as Bellamy. However, if you have that player that can do all of that dirty work in and around you, and is going to be hassling and harrying defenders and chasing every lost cause and allowing you just to essentially stay central and find those gaps and spaces to then attack the penalty area, that's almost a dream. And I think in games where we maybe have to be a little bit more defensive-minded, maybe are going to look to try and do something like that. It does allow us to have a focal point and then a player who is going to do all of that work. And even in other games where we're chasing, again, it gives you that player that is going to, when defenders are starting to tire, someone that you can get on who is just going to be relentless. And we've seen that for Georgia. He can be absolutely relentless. And he was brilliant against Portugal in stretching that defence and taking up really good movements and spotting as to, I need to go, rather than going into that right back channel, which would be an easier pass, I need to spin round into the left back channel, vice versa, rather than going into the right, going into the left, and so on, just to kind of get the pass to stretch their defence. And having a player who is intelligent in that way, who looks consistently for space and looking to do that, is worth its weight in gold. So I do think it will be a very solid signing. Don't see him as first team, though. First team starter.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it would probably be around a 6 for me. I think with that valuation as well, it's quite a lot of the chunk if it's not going to be like a proper starter, especially because we need an out and out striker and we also need an out and out left winger. I think he can do both very well. And as you say, if we want to go a two up top, he can play off of that striker really, really well. I think he'd be extremely effective as a squad player. But yeah, I think it just depends on other movement in the transfer window. I think for me, it's yeah, it's an interesting one. It's not one I would be pushing for over the likes of, say, a Philogen Bidace or, again, another player we spoke about recently with like the likes of Somerville, and then the other striking options we've got on our radar as well. I think there's better first team options, but if this is a squad signing, then I mean, it'd be a good addition, you know, depending on the price. But yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below about Mikautadze coming to West Ham. It'd be an interesting move. And yeah, we'll have to see what happens after the Euros or after Georgia are eliminated as well, because that's probably when things will start to speed up. So yeah, if you enjoyed the breakdown, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And Mike, until the next one.
Yep. Come on, you Irons.